you're going to be good. But you got to work hard to do it. It ain't going to come easy. You got to work hard to do it. All right? Do not stop swinging. Do not stop swinging. From the start to finish, get nothing but together, and most importantly, having a lot of fun doing it. All right? All right? Work hard on it. Look at it. Oh, yeah. Deep.
And welcome here to the PSB Elite 32. Session 1, I'm Marcus Burnett, joined by Brandon Clay. We're bringing you championship action featuring United Elite taking on Miami Suns Red. One of the players you definitely want to keep your eye on here in this game, Aaron DeGreat, already putting United Elite on the board. They're up 2-0. Brandon, your thoughts on this matchup?
First of all, great matchup, good teams. I think when you look at Aaron DeGreat and you watch what she does, her ability to catch the basketball, finish it, and score is going to give them a real interior presence. You've got Texas A&M head coach Gary Blair spending part of his day to watch this matchup, to see her play. Kansas head coach Bonnie Hendrickson also here to be able to watch DeGreat play. A lot of folks are in the building for Aaron DeGreat today.
Rightly so. Remember seeing her from last year and talking with Coach Bird, and he's talking about how she's only gotten better.
Yes.
You see a scoop shot there off the window. Count that one for number 14, Brooke Alexander for United Elite. It's going to give them a 4-0 advantage.
Well, and this is a situation where they've got multiple pieces in terms of kids they can make plays. It definitely is not, the Aaron DeGreat show in that regard, though she's probably the most high-profile kid on the roster. Plenty of talent out here for Bird's team, the defending champions here in the Elite 32.
Miami Suns Red with the ball. Talking with Coach Bird before the game, he mentioned that some of their momentum here in the second half has been winning that Miami Suns event.
Yep. Well, the Suns have done a great job. I had a chance to talk with Obel Cruz last night, Paul Torres, a couple of guys that are in charge of the whole organization. Obviously, Jason Hively, who's coaching this red group, does a fantastic job. Also a high school coach at Nova Southeastern. So, on both sides of the coin here today, whether it be the Suns or United, you're dealing with good basketball people who know how to put kids in position to be successful.
As DeGreat is in that position right now, she's got her second bucket of the game, gets another one to make it a 6-0 advantage here early on. The Suns going to get a timeout to talk it over.
Well, I think anytime you play, a team that has a high caliber kid like DeGreat, early on you want to try to find a way to neutralize her presence on the floor. What she does so well, Marcus, her ability to get up and down in transition, makes it really difficult to do that. If you don't have a similar size post or a kid with a motor that's so fast that's going to get you up and down and allow her to beat DeGreat to the spot. That's really what you have to do with her, as you saw her there. She does a great job of beating people to the spot. So if you can't get in the spot before she does, she's going to overpower you once she gets there. You've got to beat her to the spot.
Suns trying to do a better job of that here as we resume play from the timeout. They're on the offensive end. Ball partially deflected. Suns retain possession. Jump shot on the way for Coward. Count it.
That's a good shot. And they're going to need her to score some baskets here today. I think that's a great look in terms of where she got the shot, Marcus. Clean mid-range look. A little contested, but definitely a shot that Coward is able to hit. And you see him now playing behind DeGreat. If they're gonna play behind Aaron DeGreat, you want to play behind her and force her back to her right hand. They played behind her there, and she still got the left-handed shot off. That's going to be a tough situation all night, and there's Coward again.
Coward with back-to-back buckets for the Suns, making it a 6-4 ball game here. Just over 13 minutes left to play here in the first half.
Well, and that's the way they've got to play. You're going to see them go to a 2-3 year in the adjustment. But they've got to put themselves in a position where they're getting the easy shots that DeGreat has gotten here earlier, that Alexander even got off the break a little minute ago.
Fast breaking here, the stop and pop. Just off the mark, DeGreat with the rebound.
And that's a good shot. If you're Jason Hively and you're losing with that shot, you're going to live with that. You can't beat an 8-footer in transition. You just got to knock it down.
Doing just that, Alari Mays with the bucket.
And Mays was big here last year for them as well. You know, just providing a presence there on the wing, a kid that can make shots. As you see the great impact the game right there around the rim.
She scored, she's rebounded, getting the block shot there. Substitution in for United Elite, number 15, Charlotte Collier.
Collier, another integral piece of that team last year, got good minutes and is back out here this year ready to make an impact.
The Suns have it. Coward's got the last 2 buckets for them.
Well, when we talk about matchups and being able to identify places where you can get a bucket, and I think Coward has shown early that that's a place, in theory, they should be able to get some quality buckets throughout the course of the game, being able to find her in different spots. But I also think that you got to move her around a little bit. You want to put her in some down screen situations, some things like that off of the ball, get a little action going. You see her with a nice cut right on cue. Oh, they called a teammate for out of bounds play, but you saw her with the pass and cut there. She's got to stay in motion. She spent the first 20, 25 seconds of that possession kind of standing still. She's got to be moving inside their offense to get clean looks.
As it's still a 4-6 ball game. United Elite has it. The Great wants it inside. They get it to her. Nice defense there. Coward was able to get a hand, deflected. Wyatt going to get it to Carrazza. Carrazza with the drive.
And that doesn't go in, but her skill set for her size has been impressive. Defensively, they've got her in the middle of the 2-3 zone, but she's skilled enough to face on the perimeter and make a play.
Too easy there along the back door. Easy layup drill inside for number 21, Victoria Price.
Well, and that's one of those things, if you talk to Jonathan Hemingway, CoachHemmy.com, he'll tell you one of the hardest parts of playing zone is in transition. They're going to have to put themselves in a spot where they're able to identify early where the players are so that you don't get beat there on the back door. And that's a great play there to be able to push the Great down underneath the rim, not allow it to be a simple post feed there from Alexander for the Great to be able to catch it and score. Now you're going to force the inbounds here. Oh, nice kick to the corner there. Can't give United Elite that kind of space there on the 3. They didn't convert that attempt, but that's not something you want to do all game, is give them a chance to get that clean of a look. Substitutions here for both teams. 10:40 left here in the first half.
The Great catches it in traffic. She's fouled.
She just takes up so much space. You literally have to keep, and this is another CoachHemmy.com-ism right here. You've got to keep a body on a body at all times with Erin DeGreat. You cannot allow her to move freely through the lane without contact being made at all times.
She knocks down the first free throw.
Her touch is so soft. You know, her ability to shoot that basketball, whether it be the little face jumper or the free throw there, the lefty. Great size, moves well. You're seeing a lot of the reasons why our Prospects Nation staff has her ranked so high in the country, and why you have a Gary Blair take a time out of his afternoon here during the eval period to come sit. He's not making any evals at this point. No pen and paper needed. Just wants to let her know that he's here.
She makes it a 12-4 ball game with that last trip to the free throw line. There's a three-pointer on the way, nothing but the net. Number 23, Nia White.
That's a great shot from White. The Suns are going to need 3 or 4 people. You know, Coward obviously has identified herself as one. You know, who are 2 or 3 other people? Is it White? You know, who is it? They're going to be able to show themselves as possible double-digit scorers. You've got to think, if you're Jason Havley, you're going to be able to need probably in the low 50s to give yourself a chance to compete, if not a little bit more than that, the way United has shot the ball early and scored it in transition.
Into the game for the Suns, number 24, Annette Dukes. Erin DeGreat's going to get a breather here for United Elite. Instead, into the game is Denise Burton, number 22.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch. As you see the backcourt violation, interesting to watch the score right now while the Great is on the bench. You know, is this a place where the Suns can make a run and dent the score here?
That question remains to be seen. We've got 9 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in this one. That turnover will not help the plight. Burton coming the other way. It's a good look. Shot from the corner, just in and out there for Demerson.
Well, and that's the second one she's missed, where it literally has rolled right around the rim.
Spin move and the shot off the mark. Collier with the rebound, gets it to Demerson. Demerson to Burton, good ball movement right here by United Elite. Knifing through, but off on the shot there. Here come the Suns the other way. Ball's gonna be knocked out of bounds there by Demerson. Couple substitutions for Elite and the Suns. And into the game for Elite, number 45, Alari Mays. Cowart with the ball. Here's Carraza. Driving baseline, able to protect the ball. Shot just misses.
Oh, wow.
Good to go on the second opportunity. Annette Dukes with the bucket.
It's interesting. Dukes has got a frame and a build very similar to 2015 prospect Maya Benham. Looks a lot different type of game, you know, more of an interior-oriented prospect, but looks a lot like Benham does. Benham is from Georgia, for our viewers not familiar with that name.
That ball knocked away by Carraza. Three-pointer from the corner, no good.
Well, once again, if you're the Suns and you're forcing United into taking those three-pointers, you've got to feel good about your chances as the great checks back in, Marcus. You know, Alexander missed a couple out of the corner. She's a very good shooter for United, a kid they normally can count on for multiple threes in a game. But other than that, if you're forcing these shots, as you see a shot taken outside, if you're forcing tough outside shots as opposed to easy Aaron DeGreat layups, I mean, I don't know exactly what more you can ask for if you're Jason Ively, but you've got to identify shooters in the zone. That's the second time they've been beaten on that play.
And Lauren McGowan splashes the three from the corner. Meanwhile, Annette Dukes with another bucket inside here for the Suns.
Well, Dukes is a kid that, given the way this game is being played, we talk about matchups and not having specific pieces. You know, Dukes is the kid that I don't know that United has shown earlier they have a matchup for as kind of that smaller power forward, but really a go-getter around the rim, and then the nice touchdown on the free throw, Marcus.
Three-point play the hard way is going to make it a 12-15 ball game. United Elite with it. There's McGowan, going to try a two-pointer here. That one just short. Rebound by the Suns. White with the rebound, gets it ahead to Dukes. They're going to say last touch off of Dukes. The ball back over to United Elite. Coach Hively echoing his sentiments on making sure that they're efficient with the ball, taking care of it. So, three-point ball game. Here's DeGreat over to McGowan. Cross-court pass, three-point shot on the way. It's too strong. DeGreat unable to hold on to the rebound. Back over to the Suns.
Well, it's great because Bird said exactly what I was getting ready to say. We're just launching threes. We're just launching threes. They did such a good job early in the game of getting the basketball into Aaron DeGreat and forcing people to have to make the read defensively. DeGreat made a great pass out of the double team. Marcus scored it a couple of times there on the low block. Did some really good things when they fed her early, and they've kind of gotten away from that. Be interesting to see if coming out of this timeout they can get back into that and get the ball rolling. Texas Tech head coach Candy Whitaker has also joined us, also part of the DeGreat watch here.
This 12-14 ball game, that McGowan three-pointer was instead of two. So a two-point advantage here for United Elite. We'll see the adjustments they make on the offensive end, getting back to the bread and butter, which is what helped them get out to a 6-0 advantage early on.
Well, and once again, it goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. If you're the Suns and you can keep United, as they make a great play on the defensive end to get the ball back, but if you can keep them shooting those outside jumpers and not giving the basketball inside where they have a definitive advantage, you're going to have an opportunity to be able to stay in this game, compete, and possibly come home with the championship.
Demerson's good to go on the first free throw. Checking into the game for Elite, number 21, Victoria Price. Price, one of those players that Coach Bird feels like, can be under the radar at times as far as what she does for this team.
Well, you need those glue kids. I mean, it could be, we talk about Dukes for the Suns or, whoever those rotation kids are going to be. You've got to have a couple of them who come in and give you quality minutes. The unsung hero factor, Marcus.
Suns with it. Deja Roberts has it. All over the passing lane there.
Nice.
Laurie Mays.
Yep. Same thing she did here last year, being impactful and active consistently on both ends of the floor.
Both teams go to the deck to get it. Jump ball is going to send it back to the Suns. Sub coming in for the Suns is going to be number 43, Kiana Warden. Warden out of Fort Lauderdale High School.
And a younger prospect, just a rising sophomore. Be interesting to see what she's able to bring to this game full of kids, at least 1, if not 2 years her senior.
Trying to get in and get loose. Loses that one out of bounds.
This isn't going to be the game for that. You talk about quick leashes and normally in this kind of setting, you want to let kids play, but you also know, being able to compete and come away with a victory if possible is important. Finding that nice, healthy balance there for Jason Ively of how long you're going to play the underclassmen will depend a lot on how she plays.
Here's Roberts, gets it to Coward.
That's the shot that Coward hit earlier. I think she's got to be a scorer. If she catches the ball in there, she's got to look to score it.
It's another steal here for United Elite. This time it's Price getting her hands on it. Fouled on the other end. She'll go to the line and shoot two.
It's so hard to get good shots in the first place, right? So hard to create and manufacture those types of opportunities. When you get that type of opportunity, you've got to go ahead and take a shot on goal and capitalize.
Yeah. First free throw. Won't stay down there for Price. Back into the game. Number 15, Charlotte Collier, as DeGreat's going to get another breather here in the first half. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to play.
That's a great move. As you see Bird talking to her over here on the sidelines, discuss the strategy. And you talk about the veterans, playing for vet coaches and having that kind of relationship. You see right now, definitely not a dictation. She's not upset with him, and he's not necessarily upset with her. Definitely a dialogue that was happening right there.
It's a 12-17 ball game, 5-point advantage for Elite. Catch and shoot. Good looking shot, won't stay down for Roberts.
Agree 100%. And, no different than the possession before. When you get a 12 to 15 foot look there for the Suns, they've got to take those shots, and you just got to hope that you shoot a good percentage. But in order to put yourself in a spot to win this game, you got to take those shots.
Elite has it. Passing up the mid-range, getting a good look there was Alexander.
I'll tell you what, I love what Alexander's done here early, asserting herself offensively. Ball has not gone her way. Rolled off that one, missed a couple of threes, but has put herself in a good position to make plays and be productive here as this first half turns into the second.
Here's McCowan, going to get it back out top. She's got a wide open look there. Does Alexander. She wasn't going to miss too many more of them.
No, well, and you could tell with the confidence, obviously. And one of the things that you notice is when kids are taking shots and they're not hitting, more times than not, if the coach is able to stay calm, those are shots they normally get production from. At no point in time did Jamarcus Bird look at her and try to give her the hook or the stop shooting sign or anything like that. If anything, everybody was imploring her to continue to take in those shots. And this says a lot about the consistency she's had throughout the course of the club season.
Most definitely. If you're not sure of the proficiency of a player in certain areas, the coach's body language is always a good litmus test.
Unfortunately, I coached too many teams where my body language was bad all the time, man. That's why I'm over here on the mic with you, Marcus.
As Warden has it, Wisely pulls it out. This time finds Dukes. Dukes a little too strong on the layup.
And those are the shots. They've got to convert those chip shots. That was a great pass from the youngster there, Worthen, to Dukes on the cut. And Dukes, who's done such a good job here in the first half of giving them quality minutes, has got to find a way to convert that shot for them.
Here's Dukes. Started by Alexander.
Now, see, she's got to read that. She made a great play there. Dribble drive to the bucket, beats the first player, gets the second line help defense, and then has Deja Roberts wide open on the wing. She's got to find a way when she gets in the teeth of the defense to read the second line and then kick it for the three there, Marcus.
She's going to go to the bench after picking up that foul into the game for the Suns, number 30. United Elite with the ball. Just under 4 minutes left to play here in the first half. Alexander can't get consecutive threes there. A rare fast break opportunity here for the Suns, and it's going to send Worthen to the free throw line.
Worthen is smooth. I've really enjoyed watching. This is my first look at this Miami Suns red team. Got a quick glance at them yesterday just to have a feel for their game before we got it started. But first in-depth look where I've been able to sit, talk with Coach Ively. He was on the way over from New Orleans. They played in an event earlier this week, and he was just really excited about the progress and the play of his team. And you can tell here early, except for the couple of backdoors, couple open shooters, just some little technique things, this team is playing hard. They're locked in and definitely looking like a team that's going to finish out the summer strong.
It's a 20-12 ball game. Worthen trying to take advantage of the freebies. Uneventful trip to the free throw line there.
You got to have those. You cannot miss those types of shots where you're going 0 for 2. That's a turnover.
Alexander off the mark on that shot.
Oh, great pass ahead.
Worthen continues to run the floor, just twisted up there, and you can tell it's nothing but butterflies at this point. You see the potential. You see what she can do.
Well, Coach Ively's showing a lot of confidence here, sticking with the youngster, giving her an opportunity here in front of these scouts. They're all getting the opportunity to see exactly what we're seeing, which is a young guard who's talented, and definitely going to be in the mix, with the Miami Suns organization for years to come.
Here's Coward with it. You mentioned her need to, be as aggressive as we saw her be during that sequence earlier in the game where she scored 4 straight points for the Suns. Since then, we haven't really seen her be as assertive as they need her to be here.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? First of all, I agree, but I also think that same thing applies to the great. In terms of the consistency, it's interesting. I know a lot of people talk about, at any level, man, whether it's a Taurasi or a LeBron wanting to see bucket after bucket after bucket throughout whole games. And not that it's not possible, obviously it is, but I just think inside of the flow of the game sometimes, the game can get away from both you and your team in terms of consistently getting the ball to you in spots where you can score. And then once you get the ball, we talked about Coward getting the ball 15 feet a minute ago and not taking advantage of the opportunity. Taking advantage of the opportunity once you get it, Marcus, same thing with the great.
Here at the free throw line now is Amber Lee. She got the rebound, fouled on the attempt, misses the first free throw. The Suns currently trail by 8. I can think of about 4 free throws that they could have had over the past 2 minutes. Lee makes good on the second.
Well, and they've been fortunate, honestly. Alexander's had a couple of three-point looks that have sat right on the rim and fallen off. This could be a double-digit lead.
Yeah. Open shot, hand down, man down. I think the same applies for hand nowhere around. Man down.
Well, we talked about the tough parts of playing in that zone and just identifying, and those are talking issues there. Those are just issues of not communicating, passing the cutter through the same way that you would in a man if you're switching on the screen, just communicating with your team, making sure that everybody's on the same page so that you don't get lost and give up those easy shot opportunities.
That was Mays with the bucket on the other end. Here's Coward.
Well, they can't buy a free throw.
Substitutions into the game for United Elite, number 13, Faith Demerson back into the game. Back in for the Suns, number 25, Jade Wyatt, as well as number 23, Nia White. Second free throw in and out. The great rebound. The Suns easily have about 6 points not accounted for here in the past couple minutes.
No question. Well, unfortunately for them, you know, not only are the free throws not accounted for, but they've struggled to score it from the field. You know, if you're able to score a field goal every other possession and you're struggling from the line, it's a little different. But when you aren't able to score it, you know, at all because you're getting to the line and you're not converting, it's a drought. You know, you go on 7-0, 8-0 droughts and allow United to push the game forward when you've got opportunities to score the basketball. That's got to be frustrating right now for Coach Ively.
Warden has it. She's been able to create some opportunities for the players around her by, you know, drawing the defense and kicking out. The shots haven't fallen yet, but definitely a positive as we see her help Coward get one.
That was a great possession right there. Got the screen and roll action. Warden smart enough to feel the double come, actually drug it out a little bit, let Coward slip off the screen, hit her, and Coward got that 12-footer. We talked about it, just didn't fall.
Meanwhile, DeGreat, it's like she gave everybody 2 opportunities to go ahead and let the play be decided without her. After that third rebound opportunity came there, she takes it from there, has a chance for the 3-point play here.
Yeah, you can't give them second chance opportunities. And we talk about, you know, keeping a body on a body, and, you know, obviously that applying with DeGreat here. You've got to find her, especially on the rebound. Her ability to finish missed shots makes her one of the better center prospects in the country.
12-point advantage here for United Elite. Here's Coward. Coward gets it over to Warden. Warden going to try her first jump shot from the outside. She's short. Here's Burton in need of a lifeline. Finds Collier now. We got Fields with it. Back to Collier. DeGreat with the rebound.
That's tough, man. She gets her hands on that rebound and her soft touch. She just doesn't miss much. You talk about post players, you know, they're going to be able to shoot it more than 50% from the field, and DeGreat is the kid I think that falls into that category. They very well could shoot, you know, 55% from the field and be able to score.
We've got 58 seconds left to play here in the first half. 14-point advantage for United Elite. If you're the Suns, you definitely want to end this first half on a positive note.
No question. I think they've gotten good attempts, man, between the field goals that they've missed. You know, they haven't been on. You see another attempt there from Wharton to slide the ball into the cut there for Coward. They've done a good job of getting good shots and getting to the line. They just have not been able to convert. You know, at one point this game was 14-12, Marcus.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing in different stretches Warden get more and more comfortable. Her and Coward, you know, forming a nice potential 1-2 punch. Like you said, haven't seen the points come to fruition on the scoreboard just yet, but definitely seeing some things that could be a good sign in the second half.
No question. Now, I think that, you know, we look ahead to people who can score the basketball and be primary scorers, and I definitely think that Coward, in theory, fills that role for the Suns. As you see her knock down that 3, they're going to need her to finish this game in that 18-20 point range. She came out with 4 like gangbusters. I believe that's the first point she scored since those 2 baskets.
So we've got 10 seconds left to play here in the first half. Ball.
Great hustle there.
Jump ball is going to keep it with Noah, actually send it over to the Suns. Great job by Coward to get on the ground and get that. 5 seconds on the clock for the Suns to work with. United Elite not making it to where they might not even be able to get a shot off. That's going to do it for the first half. Marcus Burnett joined by Brandon Clay. We'll take a short break for halftime. When we get back, we'll bring you more action here from PSB Elite 32. And welcome back here to Georgia Regents University. Marcus Burnett joined by Brandon Clay here on Prospects Nation TV. We've got second half championship action. It is United Elite versus the Suns. United Elite in the driver's seat right now, but only because the Suns wanted to take a back seat. If you look at that first half, B. Clay, I can count at least 7 missed free throws. You know, really trying to get in the flow, and that's not to say that they can't come get it in the second half.
Well, you know it was interesting. Listening to Jason Havley talk to his team at the half, had an opportunity to sit right on there on top of the huddle. He said the exact same things to his team that we've been saying on the broadcast. We've done a good job defensively with the exception of the great getting a couple offensive rebounds late. We've kind of held her as much of in check as we're going to do. We have got to execute on the other end. We've got to turn those first chance rebounds that we get defensively into points. We've got to make free throws, and we've got to take quality jump shots when we get open looks and knock those down, especially in the mid-range.
Warden going to try a three-pointer. Love how Coach Lively is sticking with her. Because he's been able to see the same things we've seen as far as how she's been somewhat of a calming presence on the offensive end and getting others involved. I think she's only going to get more comfortable as this game goes on.
No question. Well, and I think that's a great example on the other end there. Having her step into 12 to 15 feet there to take that jumper. They've done such a good job offensively of not settling for shots. When Coward hit that three earlier, it was a great look, clean catch, making sure they continue to get those types of shots, continue to put themselves in a good position. You'll see Roberts here move to the point, working to play some on. So they've got multiple kids that can handle the ball as United goes to this trapping 2-3 zone.
That's the great call for the travel there. It'll go back over to the Suns. Warden just short on that jump shot.
Well, in a lot of ways, her taking those threes, great play there by Roberts, great energy. It's very similar to what happened to United there for that little quick stretch. I don't know that percentage-wise, those are the shots that you want her taking that are going to put you in the best position to come back and negate this deficit.
Yeah. As Deja Roberts picks up the pieces, though, and makes it a 18-27 ball game.
Well, like we talked about this, none of this with the Suns has been from a lack of effort. You know, they played hard, even in the huddle there at halftime. Coach Havley was not talking about effort. He wasn't coaching effort. He was coaching execution, and he was coaching making shots at the free throw line to convert opportunities that have been given to them when United misses and they get the rebound.
And another thing with Warden is that, you know, you talked about those threes, not the best threes, but from an intangibles and just a comfort standpoint, Coach Havley made sure he went to her first as she came over, you know, gave her that attaboy, still saying, okay, I see you loosening up a little bit out there. That's what we need.
No, I agree with that 100%. She's done a great job of matching up with these United Elite guards. One of the things that Coach Bird likes to do is put pressure on the basketball, and the fact that they've been able to have 3 ball handlers now with Roberts, Wharton, and then Coward on the floor has helped to negate what United wants to do defensively.
It's a single-digit deficit for the Suns. McGowan looking to inbound it. Here's Price.
And one of the things, and this got the Suns in trouble in the first half, you're watching them in zone, they are not talking the cutters through the zone. Kids are making cuts, they're making passes, and they're just kind of sliding to the person, but nothing verbally to let their teammate know what's going on. Same thing there for United, and the Suns do exactly what Havley wants, and they convert with a jumper.
Rashanti Coward. You see another turnover.
Well, Jamarcus Bird talked about an urgency at halftime to his team. He was imploring them, be urgent. You know, you guys are kind of coasting. Even for as good as we've been, we haven't been as good as we were down in New Orleans. We've got to get this thing out of the mud, or we're going to give them an opportunity to come back. And now you look at what's happening here early in the second half, and the Suns Red are showing you why they're in this game in the first place.
20-27 ball game. Back into the game for United Elite, number 22, Denise Burton. McGowan will bring it across. Momentum the past few minutes on the side of the Suns. Two-pointer, nothing but the net, Charlotte Collier.
That's a big shot there from Collier. You've already got Alexander, who's shown that she can stretch the floor and give you an opportunity. McGowan can also make the open shot. So now if you've got a third person that can make open shots and stretch and space the floor for you, it's going to make it really tough for the Miami Suns to be able to stay in that extended zone because they have to collapse the middle because of the respect that the great commands on the interior.
We see Deja Roberts attacking the inside. she's going to be fouled and go to the line. A couple of her hustle plays have helped the Suns over the past couple minutes. Was able to get a long rebound and finish inside. Here we see her going to the free throw line, knocking the first one down. If you're the Suns, you got to feel like you're in a good position. You pulled to within 8 points, getting some of those same free throw opportunities you were able to get in the first half. But here, Roberts cashing in on them.
Yeah, it's all about conversion. All about conversion, being able to make shots. And they've done a great job defensively. They really have. As you see them go to the same 2-3 trapping zone that United has, see if they can mix it up. Great interior passing there by the great Mays for the shot, Marcus.
Mays, a key part. I remember last year's championship victory, Coach Bird ejected. And it was Mays. I was trying to find a way to, say that, kind of sugarcoat it a little bit. But at the end of the day, Coach Bird was ejected, but his team really fed off of it. And
No
Mays
question.
was a big player on both ends for them.
Well, and he got the energy going with that. As
Yeah.
they get a clean look here for the Suns up top. Oh, that's smooth right there.
Carraza with the loving basketball, leave the hand up after the shot.
That's amazing. That's a great look. She's really shown herself, though. Her skill, another great pass. Oh, everything but the finish there.
Warden with the rebound. Good hustle there by McCowan. Knocked it away and then went to the deck to be able to save it. Can't get the shot to go, but Burton with the long
Well, and
rebound.
this is one of those possessions we talked about in the first half where the Suns have got to find a way to not give up the offensive rebounds. They're down. We're down 4 going into that. Had a chance to corral the rebound and cut it to single digit, or cut it to a 1-possession game on the next possession. Couldn't get the rebound after they worked so hard defensively.
Now the deficit back to 8. Tower going to get it out over to Carraza. Now Roberts going to try a three-pointer. Just off the front of the rim. Follows her shot, but McCowan has it.
Great pass there. It might be time. Looks like he's going to get DeGray to blow here. That's the first shot she's taken today where it looked like she might be a little winded.
He mentioned how Coach Bird talked about how our conditioning has really improved over the course of the past year. And when you still factor in the amount of games these young ladies have played
No
over the past
question.
couple weeks, takes a toll. 8-point advantage. McCowan trying to add to it. That one in and out.
That's a big shot here if they can get it. They have Worthen ahead of the pack. It'll stay Miami Suns ball. Great play defensively there from Burton to get her hand on that thing because it looked like Worthen was going to be able to catch it with an opportunity to finish and cut it back to 6.
Back into the game for elite number 10, Courtney Fields, as well as number 13, Faith Demerson. Back in for the Suns, number 25, Jade Wyatt. Worthen's going to get a breather.
50.
Still an 8-point lead for United Elite. Suns have it. They get it back out top to Wyatt. Now here's Roberts. Roberts been a spark plug for the Suns over the past couple minutes. Tough shot right there off the mark.
And those, you see Coach Ively shaking his head, those are not the type of shots that you want to look to consistently to get you back to square one here and make this an even ball game. They had done a good job there at the beginning of the half of capitalizing on mistakes, getting quality open looks, all of those things, and they've got to make sure they stick to the blueprint and continue to do those things as we get a pan here of all the college coaches in the building.
It's been great being able to see these players, just with the Summer Invitational, with Power 48, and now here in Augusta, just being able to see the exposure that they've been able to get on site and online via the webcast.
No question. I had multiple people tell me today alone, hey, man, we watched the broadcast. We're on it, Prospects Nation and all those things, so we're excited about today's lineup.
We're going to have a foul there going to go against Burton. Burton's energy on the defensive end has been solid for Coach Bird's United Elite team here.
Yeah, interesting in a lot of ways, very similar to what Roberts brings to the Miami Suns.
Shot short, United Elite looking to push. Here's Fields. Kicks it over to Price. Like Price stepped out of bounds.
Be interesting to see how long Coach Ively is able to play with both Worthen and Coward on the bench there on the perimeter. They've accounted for the majority of the points between the two of them, or at least the opportunity creation, if not necessarily the finish itself.
9 minutes, 40 seconds left to play here in the second half. Here's Amber Lee. Gets it over to Wyatt. Wyatt fouled on the step through there.
That's a good take. Anytime you can put the ball on the deck, be able to draw the block and foul, get yourself a little bit closer to the 1-and-1 bonus with the way that we play that here, but also just establish yourself as a potential offensive presence here down the stretch of this game.
You see Burton with the steal. Pulls it back out. Collier cross court to Price.
Oh, and you see Jamarcus Bird doing his best Coach K impression, Phil Jackson, really just sitting down, taking the game in right now. Been standing up teaching the majority of the game, now sitting here just really watching as you get closer to the 5-minute mark and you make those final substitutions, get Aaron DeGreat back in the game, get an Alexander back in the game, just kind of feeling the game out for where it is right now.
Filling it out from the three-point line. It's going to be Courtney Fields. Fields' bucket makes it an 11-point advantage.
Well, that's one of the things you could do with a veteran team. We've talked about that a lot this summer, Marcus. This team was not a veteran team last year in terms of Bird's team, with DeGreat being the catalyst, some of the other young ladies still being rising juniors at that point. He had to coach a little bit harder, even with the ejection last year in the championship game, getting tossed out almost on purpose just to get the momentum going. He's not having to do that this year.
Yeah. As this team has pushed the advantage up to 11 points, and after this dead ball, you'll see Warden, Coward, as well as Carrazza back into the game.
Well, it's so hard when you have scores. In a lot of ways, it's, if you're coaching a big-time team, you take the old Miami Heat, for example, or even the San Antonio Spurs, it's going to be very rare that you're able to sit Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, and Kawhi Leonard all at the same time and still be able to get those results scoring-wise. You almost always have to have 2, if not 3 scorers on the floor, no matter what team and what level you're coaching at, to continue to give yourself a chance to be productive on the offensive end.
Had to chuckle a little bit at the reference to the old Miami Heat. Well, what a difference a year can make.
Hey, man, it was quick, man. 2 out of 4, I guess, ain't bad.
Not bad at all.
I mean, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 28, 30, but it's cool, man. 2's a nice number.
No doubt, and 2's definitely a good number in Cleveland as the Browns coming back the second time around.
And say he's coming back wearing the 2-3, man.
8:35 left to play here in this ball game. 11-point advantage for United Elite. Back into the game for the Miami Suns. Number 43, Warden. Number 22, Coward, as well as number 33, Carrazza.
On Carrazza's energy there on the interior. And so once again, I want to make sure that we talk about this. The energy level for both teams has been really high. You talk about late July basketball, and it's been good energy.
Yeah.
The execution for United right now has been better than the execution for the Suns as they hit another 3, and that's been the difference in this basketball game.
McCowan with the tray ball pushing the lead to 14 points. Here's Carrazza. We'll see if Carrazza is able to take advantage of what she can do with DeGreat as far as the perimeter and being able to use her size in that aspect.
Well, and you know what? DeGreat did a great job there, perimeter defense, but if nothing else, what Carrazza did is she pulled her out of the lane, which gave Roberts an opportunity to cut to the basket and be able to make a play. So sometimes it's not necessarily the fact that you're going to beat DeGreat off the dribble, but Carrazza's ability to hit the 3 forced DeGreat to honor her out there and in turn open up the lane for a teammate.
Great point. Anything that gets DeGreat away from the rim is a
it's
good
a plus,
option for the opposing team.
Definitely.
Number 45, Laurie Mays checks back into the game for United Elite. Faith Demerson going to have a seat. DeGreat off the mark on that free throw. Here's Warden.
That's a rare occasion where she misses both of them. They call it out of bounds, but Bird sitting on the line doesn't like that call.
Eight-point advantage for United Elite. Coward, that shot won't go, rebounded by Mays.
That's a tough shot. It's right in the area that we talked about wanting to see her score it in, but it's a tough shot in terms of the type of shot that she got there. Contested hand and face jumper there at 15 feet. Obviously, there's a sense of urgency in terms of the amount of time left on the clock, but I think that that's a situation where you want to, we call it kick it and keep playing.
Yeah.
Swing the basketball and just continue to keep playing and hope that within the next, 5 to 8 seconds of gameplay, you're able to get the ball and just be in a better position to score.
7 minutes, 23 seconds left to play. Laurie Mays at the free throw line. Good to go on the second one.
And United is really converted here in the second half. I mean, with the exception of the great strip a second ago with the two missed free throws, I can't think of, very many possessions in this half where they haven't gotten a quality shot on goal if they've been able to advance the ball across half court. Even that turnover there was made out of, hey, let's get it and go. Let's continue to put the pressure on, foot on the gas, so to speak.
27-40 ball game, 7-11 left to play here in the second half. Coward to inbound it for the Suns. Here's Carraza. Carraza gets it over to Lee. Back to Carraza. Bumped a little bit there by DeGreat. Now Warden has it. Roberts, he's been attacking relentlessly. Can't get the first one to go. Lee too strong on the putback.
Well, and there's a great example of DeGreat's length on the interior. Lee tries to adjust, obviously, for legitimate 6'5" in there waiting on her and ends up shooting it over the rim.
Coward, she has Warden ahead, not giving up on the play there is Brooke Alexander. Great job of getting back and hustling on defense. There's Lauren McGowan there. Alexander knocked it out of bounds, but McGowan did a great job to recover and get step for step there with Warden. There's Carraza.
Oh, backside, and they just missed her. They had the backside and were not able to get the ball in her hands there.
Wide open Amber Lee there. And Mays makes them pay for that pass, layup drill on the other end.
The Suns, unfortunately for them, about 5 minutes of gameplay ago, kind of hit that wall in terms of being able to coach. And you see Jason Adams' face as he was trying to make some adjustments there and figure it out, but you got to be able to score the basketball against a team this good. There's a reason why, they were in the championship and able to come away as a champion last week in New Orleans, and this is the reason. They're going to continue to apply pressure, whether it's Alexander, whether it's Mays, whether it's Collier, whether it's DeGreat. They've got multiple people that can put the ball in the hole at any time.
You mentioned the low 50s kind of being a benchmark for the Suns to aim for as far as being able to come away with this game. There, Annette Dukes able to break free and get the layup to go.
Bird not happy. Still demanding perfection. They've got another tournament here after this one, our Elite 32 Session 2. They'll be right back on the floor tomorrow morning at 8:30 with a chance to win another title. So I'm sure he wants to make sure we've got to play. This is not the end of the summer. This isn't over. We've still got more scouts that are going to be out here over the next couple of days watching and taking our team in.
Not to mention, it's a 13-point ball. I'm sorry, not a 13-point ball game. Boy, it's been a long. It's been a long week or so, but it's a 13-point advantage here for United Elite, and it's 5 minutes 38 seconds left to play here in this game. So it's not mathematically impossible.
No question. It reminds me a lot of that BC's Finest game that you covered yesterday, Marcus, when they played the Mississippi Ballers, where there was that stretch where BC had the opportunity to go ahead and run it out of the gym, and they did just that.
Yeah.
Shouts to Ace Koenig and some of the kids that are on our team, Taylor Jackson. They got on it and never let off the gas, and that's what United needs to do right here, that they come out and get a bucket right out of the timeout.
Productive timeout there for Coach Bird. Mission accomplished initially. 15-point advantage. Now Fields gets a steal. Going to get it ahead to Alexander, who gets caught in no man's land in the air. Maybe a little too unselfish there on that play.
Yeah, I thought she was going to go ahead and put it up. Still not a great angle either way, though, so definitely can understand why she wanted to pass that one.
Gets an opportunity here. Suns Suns not giving up by any means. As you mentioned, their energy and effort level has been consistent here throughout this game.
They just have not been able to have that consistent execution that they were looking for at halftime. As you see them get beat there on the back door, coming off baseline out of bounds set.
2 straight buckets by Faith Demerson. Roberts continues to attack. Ball knocked out of bounds. 4:44 left to play in the game. Roberts going to get it in bounds. Shot finished on the inside by White. Coach Hively's going to get a timeout.
That's a good call. I mean, this is, you're down underneath the 5-minute mark, so you've got to come with something here in the next couple of minutes to get this thing into that 7 or 8 point manageable deficit, or it's going to be a struggle to finish it off, man. I know you saw yesterday, Marcus. Tell us your thoughts on this. Destiny Slocum and Tori Williams from Boise Hoop Dreams that'll be with us again next week, man. What'd you think about those kids, Marcus?
Very impressed by them. Tori Williams, her quickness and ability to really stir the drink, so to speak, for the Boise Hoop Dreams, very impressive. Slocum, saw her get a little bit banged up in yesterday's game early on, taking a charge. She's a great teammate. I had heard that in pre-production talking with J.L. Hemingway, and she definitely followed suit there in the game and still had a great game despite being hobbled for the majority of it. So I cannot wait to see those kids here on this Elite 32 stage, as they nearly came a 3-pointer from the buzzer away from winning that game yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great one. I had the opportunity to actually get from Augusta, man. Shot right up the interstate and caught that one myself, and I agree 100% with your thoughts on that one.
Fields going to try another 3-pointer. Already has one this second half. The long rebound won't bounce the way of the Suns. It'll be another opportunity for Elite.
Well, at this point, they need everything to go their way.
Yeah.
They can't afford any possessions where they're not corralling the first rebound and they're not scoring on the other end.
3-pointer on the way. That shot no good. Strong rebound inside there. It's going to be pulled away by Demerson.
They just have not been able to knock down enough outside jumpers. They shot it better from the free throw line, but have struggled from the outside to make the amount of shots they were going to need to make to be able to come away with a victory here.
It's the lead now 15 for United Elite. 3:40 and counting left to play in the ball game. Dukes has that shot partially blocked. It'll stay with the Suns. Back into the game for Elite. Number 25, Lauren McGowan. Worthen, number 43, back into the game for the Suns, as well as number 33, Carraza. Nia White to inbound the ball for the Suns. 3 minutes, 34 seconds to work with, 15-point deficit. Asia Roberts going to sleep well tonight. Been very active for the Suns.
Oh, great pass. Great pass.
Assist by White, finished by Dukes.
Oh, you see him now scrambling defensively, Marcus, trying to make something happen.
They had the steal there, but had a foot out of bounds, so it'll stay with Elite. Number 1, DeGray, as well as number 21, Price, back into the game for United Elite. Coach Bird saw that defense cranking up a little bit, makes the adjustment. As the Suns definitely showing to be a team that you have to finish off. They're definitely not going to lay down. Mays has it up top. Now gets it to DeGray. DeGray can't get that one to go, but Demerson tips it out.
Another offensive rebound there for United. When you're playing in a game like this, the margin for error is very, very small, and an offensive rebound is definitely something you cannot afford to give up. Great move there by Worthen.
That'll That'll send Worthen to the free throw line. Class of 2017 guard out of Fort Lauderdale. Definitely going to be fun to watch her over the next couple years. This is the first. Be sure to stick with us after this matchup. We'll have 2 more webcasts here on Prospects Nation TV. The Georgia Hoop Stars Black will take on the West Virginia Thunder. What would be a good matchup. Really love seeing the development of Alexandra Frazier and the travel season she's had.
No question, man. I think you talk about the West Virginia Thunder. You know, Taryn McCutcheon will not be here this evening. The Michigan State verbal commit actually had to get out of here after their game last night. But you've got multiple kids who have a chance to really make a mark. You know, I think in this game tonight, on their way home, you know, they will not be in the second session of the Hoop Stars Black will. Sarah Price, Shayna Harmon, Lexi Berry, who's really blown up, actually picked up a couple of offers last week over the Deb week. So excited to have them here on the broadcast and call that game next, Marcus.
And last but not least, at 7 p.m., we'll have All Ohio Black versus Florida Flight.
That's a great way to close it out. I don't know who drew the schedule up, but whoever did that might have done a decent job finishing out with that one.
Yeah, that guy, he probably lucked around.
He probably threw some darts at the board, man. It just kind of worked out like that. No, that's going to be another fun one to close it out.
Yeah.
I actually had the opportunity last night to sit here and watch all 4 of those teams play each other. You know, All Ohio Black last night squared off with West Virginia Thunder, and the Hoop Stars played Florida Flight. So, been some great basketball here at the Elite 32. Summer Jam 1.
As we're back to the play in this one. United Elite trying to close it out here. Layup miss. The great cleaning up inside.
She does such a great job. If that ball's bouncing on the rim, she's going to find a way to get her hands on the basketball.
She'll go to the charity stripe here with 2:13 left to play. Can't get the first one to go.
And struggled from the line a little bit in the second half. Uncharacteristic for her, for sure. Ashby is the second one clean.
Back to form on that one. 38-49 ball game, just over 2 minutes left. Here's Carraza. Carraza has it knocked away. Will stay with the Suns. Here's Worthen. Carraza looking inside for Dukes initially. DeGreat doing a good job moving the feet. Dukes loses it out of bounds.
Well, it's just been a lack of offensive execution in terms of being able to get the type of shots that they want and then be able to finish the type of shots that they want. I think it goes both ways. Something that they've struggled with here. You know, throughout the course of the second half, they had that little stretch there right in the beginning of the half where it looked like they were going to be able to make a run and just have not been able to put 3, 4, 5 good minutes together twice. As you see Coach Ively literally put his shirt over his head, just pure frustration. Came out and they've given the effort everything that it would take to win the title. The execution just has not been there today.
Yeah. Just over the minute mark left to play. Asia Roberts hustles to get another long rebound. Get it ahead to Worthen. Back to Roberts. So that will send Deja Roberts out of Nova High School in Miramar, Florida. Send her to the free throw line with 1 minute, 2 seconds left. You know, when you talk about that Georgia Hoop Stars versus West Virginia Thunder matchup, you know, 2 different styles. You know, when you look at how those teams play, what do you see as some of the key factors going into that game?
Execution. You know, I think we'll stick with this. You know, I thought in watching the West Virginia game last night against Ohio, one of the things they struggled with, Ohio's length, forced them to not be able to execute at the rate that they're used to executing. You'll see Scott Johnson, a lot of called sets, almost 90% of the game is going to be diagrammed in the half-court set from the sideline. Whereas with the Hoop Stars, it's not as much that. They're going to get out more open flow. So really for them, the ability to disrupt. I think for West Virginia Thunder, it's the ability to execute. And for the Georgia Hoop Stars Black, it'll be the ability to disrupt West Virginia Thunder's execution.
So we have another trip to the free throw line here. Both teams getting a little bit of free throw practice to close this one out. Demerson at the free throw line now.
Well, and both of them will be with us here for session 2. So neither one of them into their summer today. Both of them will have 3 more games here over the next 2 days to impress the multitude of college scouts that will be out.
We're ready to start session 2. They'll be used to the nice backdrop here at Georgia Regents University.
This is an awesome place. They do a great job. Jason Griebeck, the building director, Clint Bryant, the athletic director. Definitely want to shout both of them out. This is every single year just a great home for us to close out the month of July.
As McGowan gets another bucket there for Elite.
It was good for McGowan. Roberts, even in a loss, this is a good day for Roberts, a good day for Coward, a good day for all the kids with Miami Suns Red and then United as well. Having an opportunity to put themselves on the map here on Prospects Nation TV and in front of the multitude of schools that are here.
Roberts good on the first free throw. Roberts also out of Nova High. High school teammates with Carraza as well as Coward. Out of bounds there as the Suns continuing to work hard. They force a turnover.
Even with the championship in hand here, Marcus Bird still not happy with any type of misexecution. They want to execute on every single possession as they get ready to turn this thing over tomorrow and go for 2.
Yeah, you don't have the second half they've had here in this travel season without that attention to detail.
No question.
And high bar.
Now you see him here in a position to dribble it out. You see Jason Havley tell his team, don't foul. Quality event here for both teams as United Elite comes away with the championship.
That'll do it for this championship webcast here from the Elite 32. Stick with us as we'll have 2 more here from Georgia Regents University. I'm Marcus Burnett. He's Brandon Clay. We'll catch you back here on Prospects Nation TV.